Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's now Friday I think it's the 16th. It is the 16th of June 2023. Yet
It's
another...
Friday, the 16th of June, 2023.
I just said that. So yeah, it's still burning hot in the UK, ridiculously hot in fact. Temperatures nearing the 30s pretty much every day. It's not getting cooler at the night. We've not had rain for 4 weeks. In fact, I know that we've had one morning with a light bit of drizzle in those 4 weeks. Mainly I know that is because I picked up the Tesla Model Y on the 18th of May. Obviously, we're now on the 16th of June, and I know for a fact that there's only been that slight one morning of drizzle since I got it, and no rain or anything else since. Mainly because I was very interested to see, because some people say the auto wipers are a bit not good. So I was kind of interested to see if the auto wipers were all right or not. But, you know, the UK, for all the times it spends pouring with rain and being miserable, for some reason at the moment just decides to be Costa del UK instead. So yeah, it's just been ridiculously hot for so many weeks now. And it's definitely slowed down hot drink sales, just because it's just so hot. Everyone wants cold drinks, don't they, when it's hot weather? They don't want to be drinking loads of coffee, and certainly people don't want to be buying coffee to roast at home at the moment because it's warm enough without adding roasting to it. And I've got to admit we've done a lot of roasting again this week, but it's pretty uncomfortable, to say the least, because it's already hot and then you're just obviously adding more heat everywhere with the roasting machines. So that's not ideal, if I'm honest. Yeah, so on the whole, this week, hot, sticky, uncomfortable, hot evenings. Great for sitting out in the garden. I've been loving that on the evenings and weekends, getting a bit of a tan. But it's just really uncomfortable just to do anything. Like now, even up here in the warehouse, where, you know, nothing's been happening, but it's uncomfortably warm. You know, it's not just warm, it's 25 degrees, sticky, warm sort of thing, because the heat's just burning in through the building. And of course, this big old building we're in, the problem with it is, once it starts heating up, and we had this last year as well, you know, there's an extended amount of hot weather. When it cools down, this place won't cool down for a long time afterwards. The heat just stays in it. So we're going to continue the heat wave long after it's cold and miserable outside. It'll still be boiling in here. So yes, generally works. Yeah, it's been a fun week, just getting too hot. Trailing around trying to do deliveries, and that's pretty hot. Just been to the Peace Hall this afternoon with the bakery's order. Peace Hall, of course, has got its summer of concerts on now, starting, I don't know if Madness is on tonight or tomorrow night, but they look like tonight. They've got all the stage ready and we're getting it all prepped up. So there must be something on tonight. I think Madness is tomorrow night, which is the start of the summer season. And they've got a lot of big acts, I think, coming to Halifax, to the Peace Hall through the summer. So I could probably link a link to the list of the acts or whatever that's on. I've not really looked myself. I mean, the only thing about it for us is they shut a lot of the stores that we supply coffee to early because of the concerts. And people going to concerts on the night aren't drinking a huge amount of coffee, to be fair. So coffee sales are not going to be as mega as they normally are, because of the concerts going on. So I think there will be a little bit of a slowdown now until the stage disappears again. But I'm sure it does well for them in sales of other stuff, so I think they'll do all right. So yeah, just last weekend, just really hot again. Did some gardening, mowed the lawn, some bits and pieces around the house, just that sort of thing. And yeah, that's about it. And I think this weekend's going to be pretty much the same. I'm going to do some painting at home, I think. So get on with that. Getting on with the Tesla fine, really like it, no problems with it at all. Still totally bemused by all the ministerial gumph and fudge you get about Tesla, because not really had an issue at all I can think of. I don't think the panel gaps are horrendous. I suppose it all depends on your opinion, but I mean, looking round it, I can't see any issues. Everything works fine, it looks good. You know, it's just a nice car that uses electricity. The only thing is, with this sort of extreme hot weather, the battery level does get depleted, it seems, just while it's sitting in the heat, because it's got to obviously keep the battery packs to a certain level, so not too hot and not too cold. So when it's really hot like this, it's got to keep cooling the batteries, even if it's not doing anything, and that tends to deplete some of your battery. Also, it obviously with the remote you can do things like vent the windows to let heat out, which is handy when it's really hot, and you can put the climate system on to cool it down before you get in, which is really handy. The only problem with that is I did that on Sunday, planning on going out, and then when it was sort of like supposed to be 15 minutes before I did it, and it's normally cooled down by then if I do that. But then something came up and it was, you know, more than an hour. I ended up going out afterwards. But actually, after sort of 35 minutes of me putting the climate on in the car, it did actually send me a little notification on my phone that the climate was on, and would I like to turn it off? So, because it said the climate's been on for a long period of time. So that was kind of handy. But of course, sort of leaving that thing on running for ages does chew up battery as well. So your range just keeps disappearing one way or the other. So I don't know about EV wise, you know, they say, oh, you know, fill it up to 80%, charge it up to 80% battery, and then that's going to get you however many miles you're going to get. Me on full, I should get 280. But I think the thing about it is there is other stuff the car's going to do that is going to use that amount of range. So, you know, it's not like buying a petrol or diesel car, filling it up, parking it for a week and coming back to it. It's got exactly the same amount of diesel in it, or petrol. Whereas with an EV, you know, you charge it up to 100% and then leave it for a week and come back and you might have 80 or 75 or something. Because during that week, if it's been really hot, it's been cooling the batteries and it's been doing other things. And especially with the Teslas, the Sentry mode is a big battery drain, actually. I mean, Sentry mode is a really good security feature, especially if, obviously, you're parking in public car parks, supermarket car parks and things, where you might get people knock your car or whatever and sort of disappear off without mentioning it. So having that sort of all-round camera recording any incidents is great, but it's not for all the time, I found, because like I don't have it on at home now when the car's on the driveway, because it does just munch down a couple of percent. It can be an hour, I think, which, you know, overnight takes a big chunk out of your battery. So that sort of thing as well, obviously that's a Tesla sort of thing, but and you can turn it on and off. So I have it set as default to be on, so whenever I park and leave the car it will be on, but then I can go in the app and manually turn it off. And I kind of think that's the better way for me, because if I have it off, then I have to try and remember to turn it on. I'll never turn it on, because I'll never remember to turn it on. So, you know, I'll park at a supermarket, go in and do my stuff, get back to the car and think, oh, I should have turned on Sentry mode, darn. By which time, you know, when it would have been useful has passed. So I've lost the feature. Whereas I think if I have it on all the time and then I can remember, oh, I need to turn it off at some point at home, that kind of works at least, because then it's on when it needs to be, and I just have to remember now and again to turn it off. So yeah, there's lots of little nice touches. I use the pin to drive feature. So it's an optional setting on Teslas. You have to enter a 4-digit PIN code in order to actually drive the vehicle. My theory was because your phone's the key. You know, if you lost your phone, someone followed you and mugged you and stole your phone, they could go back to your car and just get in and drive off with it because the phone is, you know, the key itself. But with the pin to drive feature, then even if they've got your phone, they can't actually drive it because they've got to put the PIN code in, and working that out's quite hard. And one thing I hadn't realised, but my older boy mentioned, is he said that PIN entry button keeps appearing all around the screen like it's moving about it. Because every time you get in, you put your foot on the brake, up pops the pin to drive thing, but it appears in different locations around the screen, just randomly. Whereas you kind of thought, well, surely it'll just pop up in the middle all the time. There. And then I thought about it, and I thought, actually, you know, because it's a bit like if you have keypads for alarms and things, and you press the same 4 digits all the time, it gets worn on them, and it becomes obvious that those 4 digits are the one, and then that reduces the combination considerably, because if you know it's within this range of 4, you've just got to get them in the right order, so you can just go through and do that. And obviously what Tesla thought of is that if you were doing the 4 digits on the screen, then you'd be able to detect the finger marks left on the touch screen because you're always touching the same place. So it counteracts that by moving the little thing around on the screen, so you're touching in different places all the time. So there's just touches all over the place. So, and I thought, oh, that's quite clever. You know, that's just someone thought about that and thought, you know, to make this super secure, we're going to make the box appear in random locations rather than a fixed location. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I gotta admit, I like it. There's a lot to like of it. I do like what I missed with the Toyota RAV4 a lot, which is being able to walk away and it locks itself. Could never figure out why Toyota didn't have that, because it had the walk up and you unlock. It unlocks. You don't have to press the key or anything. But it didn't do the lock when you walk away. The only slight almost bit to it was you could touch some ribs on the handles of the driver and passenger door, and that would instigate a lock. But that was doing something after you've got out, not just walking away and it locks itself. So that's a feature that, admittedly, you know, Renault had that 6 years ago with the Kadjar, and I think even 10, 12 years ago I had that with the Renault Grand Scenic, that feature of walk-away lock. So it was a bit bizarre that Toyota just hadn't put it in as a feature, because obviously they could do, it wouldn't be hard. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's about it. I'm kind of hot now. Oh, I better do Mr. Nelson's words of wisdom, and then I'm going to get off, because it's too warm to be stood even in here. So Mr. Nelson says, my things for you to talk about on your vlog. I've watched Hostage starring Bruce Willis and The Borrower starring John Goodman. All right, good films. Watched a documentary about Thomas the Tank Engine at the Nene Valley Railway. Oh, very good. Been to Eden Tarn on Monday, also Westview Park on Saturday, both with Suzanne Wardle. Also Greenhead Park as a magpie trip on Tuesday, but the cafe was very busy. Baking. Was it baking? Was it hot? Oh yeah, Greenhead Park. Yeah, Greenhead Park's nice though. I've been playing Outrun Coast 2 Coast at Electric Bowl on Tuesday evening as I picked the red Tesla of it. Very funny. More on Suzanne as she's going to Dubai from the 25th to 27th of June. Head teachers that they have supported changing to us to enter the inspection process in the wake of the Ruth Perry's death. Are you going to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at the cinema or not, because of the expensive price of cinemas nowadays? As you need a cinema card to see films cheap, which have got a cinema card. So we'll see The Flash on Monday. Right, so I don't know, I'm not sure. I'll go to the cinema if I get asked to take the boy to the cinema, but I'm not going off the top of my head, because I'll just wait till stuff is available to stream and then stream it on whatever. So I don't know. I think I'm waiting. I think there's a new Grand Tour on Amazon Prime tonight, so let's watch that. I'm kind of waiting for some stuff to be released on Disney Plus and Netflix, I think, as well. Some big films. But yeah, generally don't do cinemas unless the boy's kind of like, oh, I want to go to cinema with one of his mates, and then I'll take him. But that seems to be few and far between. So anyway, too hot, going home to remove clothing, get some shorts on, and a sleeveless t-shirt, and sit outside and just, well, not cool down, but not be stuffy inside hot. So have a good week next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see ya.